But Islam is a regulating mechanism of our nafs al-amara. It's supposed to control the nafs al-amara, right? This is part of Islam. But people say, oh, that you're just the opiate of the masses. So instead of the opiate of religion, let's just give them real opium to bear their troubles. You know, because it used to be the African American community survived in America through slavery with religion. That's what they did. The blues was all religious originally. It was swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. You know, there's a greater day coming that we're going to get, you know, we're going to get our day on the day of judgment. There are African American Muslim tombstones in America with the finger like this of Muslims. We have many, because there were many of them were Muslim. 1/5 of the slaves were Muslim. And they have this. In other words, they died despite being enslaved by people, still believing there's a day of justice. There's adala, Yawm al-Qiyamah. We believe in Yawm al-Qiyamah. So you might have 60 years of oppression. You're going to have an infinity of justice. And so this is whether you believe or not. This is the real deal. Do you believe this promise or not? Because if you want to change things in the world by making things worse, then you're a fool and causing untold suffering on other people. And this is why our ulama were very opposed to revolution. Not because they didn't think that oppression was wrong or they were trying to keep the oppressors in power. That's not. Because they saw it from a metaphysical perspective, first and foremost, that this is an ibtila from Allah, liyabluwakum ayyukum ahsanu amala, that, you know, when I said yesterday, some religions say life is suffering, we don't say that. Because some people have lives without any suffering. Really, they have perfect health, they wealth, friends, they live in very good times. But all of life is an ibtila. And this is the difference between our religion and their religion. Suffering is an ibtila and pleasure is an ibtila. They're both ibtila. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ بِالْغِنَى أو بِالْفَقْرِ بِالْمَرَض أو بِالصِّحَّةِ. Health is a tribulation, because what are you doing with your health? Sickness is a tribulation. How are you responding to the sickness? This is our religion. But if you remove metaphysics, if you remove God from the world, then the world makes no sense at all. And then, yeah, you should fight and just, you know, tear everything down to get your justice if that's what it takes. But if you believe, Allahumma, قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ تُؤْتِ الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتَنْزِعُ الْمُلْكَ مِمَّنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرِ. If you believe that, say to them, O Allah, Malik al-Mulk, the one who really possesses all dominion. You give this contingent dominion to whom you please, and you take it away from whom you please. And this is why when there was a revolution in Medina, they asked Malik about it. He said, if the one being revolted against is like Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, then help protect him. If he's not, then da'a ظالما ينتقم الله منه بظالم آخر. Then let Allah take vengeance on one oppressor with another oppressor. That's how Malik viewed it. Like, they're both oppressors. He's an oppressor for rebelling against him, but he's an oppressor for creating conditions that people wanted to rebel against him. So just let him duke it out, because Allah is an muntaqim. They saw God, and God's been removed from the scenario, and it's all Marxism. People have no idea how much Marxist thought has penetrated the modern Islamic tradition. They have no idea. Most of these guys, Muhammad Khalid was a Marxist before he became Muslim. Sayyid Qutb was a Marxist before he became Muslim. He was a Marxist. I mean, read his early history. He was a Marxist. And they brought in these ideas. Ali Shariati went to Sorbonne, studied Marxist thought. And they brought all, they said, oh, this is Islam. Abu Dhar, look at Abu Dhar, he was fighting for the poor people. And so they started framing Islam into this framework of Marxist thought. But who is Marx? A man who hated God, who had boils on his bottom his adult life. Seriously, he couldn't sit down. He was always in pain. He hated God. He was also he was also a total racist. I've read his letters to Engels about the Algerians and how ape-like the Arabs were. You know, the great German Marx. So this is the reality of it. And it's not to say that Marxist criticism doesn't have some validity. I'm not denying that. You know, I'm not that stupid. But the criticism is entirely predicated on atheism. Because there's no ibtila here. There's just oppression and oppressed. So the oppressed have no metaphysical view of their, like, what is this? It's an ibtila. That's how we view it. It's an ibtila. How do you respond to it? What's the best way to respond to it? And that's where the challenge comes. So